Welcome to another episode of Drinking After Dark, a podcast where we discuss random topics while having a few drinks. I'm your host, Darius, and as always, drink responsibly. And y'all make sure y'all follow Drinking After Dark podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe to Drinking After Dark podcast YouTube channel. Tonight, uh, nothing, man. I just got some Powerade, man. Some great Powerade. Uh, Hope you guys had a great week. Hope you have a great weekend. Um, y'all know what this weekend is, right? Super Bowl weekend. All right, so we're gonna talk about the Super Bowl, man, what to expect. And I'll just give y'all my prediction on who's actually gonna win the Super Bowl. All right, so um obviously the Super Bowl uh in New Orleans, Chiefs, Eagles, second time in 3 years. These two teams have met in the Super Bowl. Obviously, you still got Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey, uh, Coach Andy Reid uh with the uh with the Chiefs. We look at the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is still there, but I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, they got a weapon. I mean, Saquon Barkley, who I would say this before going any further. Congratulations to Allen of the Buffalo Bills for um, winning the NFL MVP award. But I don't think Josh Allen should have won. I think Saquon Barkley should have been the NFL MVP. Why? To me, he had a better season. I think he's the reason, he's the catalyst of why that team um was great this season. And me personally, I don't like the NFL MVP award because it's a quarterback award. I think they got to change that award. If it's truly an MVP award, then you gotta factor in receivers, running backs, even defensive players. So that's the way I see it. But nonetheless, Saquon Barkley, um, this year, I mean, this Philadelphia Eagles team, man, they are for real. I think this team is better than what they were 2 years ago when they faced the Chiefs. All right. Obviously, you have Kendrick Lamar headlining the Super Bowl uh this year. So I know a lot of people are gonna be tuning in for that. I know they have um I mean, it's gonna be crazy though because Kendrick Lamar having a big week, winning 5 Grammys last Sunday. Now you're performing at the Super Bowl. Obviously, people are just they're um they kind of know he's gonna play not like us. We see that coming. I mean, it's gonna be a tough week for Drake for sure. Um, but it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a great game, a great halftime show, personally speaking. And let's go and get into the teams. What I think is going to happen and who I think is going to win the Super Bowl. So let's go ahead and get into that. Let's start with the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles, in terms of this matchup, um, or even no, I'm gonna say even all season, even though you know the Chiefs, as in terms of their record, right? I mean, great record, obviously, but it didn't really feel much, right? When we look at the Eagles team, I feel like the Eagles team are a better team than the Chiefs. Okay, what they have on the offensive side of the ball, not only with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, but you got to look at the receivers as well. Probably the best duo of receivers that we have in the entire NFL. Then you look at their defense led by, to me, Carter. I think he is the key to the game. Um, in terms of the Super Bowl, obviously, what uh Saquon and Jalen is going to do. You know what that offensive line is going to do. I think that's also a big factor in excuse me, in it as well. But I think Carter on the defensive side of the ball is going to be, to me, the key if the Eagles are going to win. All right. Um, but I just think that in order for the Eagles to win this game, it all starts and ends with Saquon. I mean, Saquon has to be the guy. And we all know when it comes to these games, was the regular season game, even the playoffs, a lot of times coaches get away to what their biggest strength is, right? The Eagles' biggest strength on this team from an offensive standpoint is running the football. Run it, run it, run it. Then you got Jalen Hurts, who is a great quarterback in his own right. He can Now he can have his fun. He could, pick the defense apart with his arm or even with his legs. So I personally think that the Eagles to me have a better team. As long as they stick to what they do best, they ain't got to change nothing. Obviously, in the course of a game, but anytime you play a team, both teams, you always got to make adjustments. Mid-game, that's coaching and everything. But sometimes you just got to stay the course. And I think their course is run the football, and for the defense, get off on third down. Don't stay on the field too long. Don't let Patrick Mahomes, um, who is to me still the best quarterback in the league, even though by his standards he had a down year. Um, he to me he's still the best quarterback. During this time of the year, who you want on your team? You want Patrick Mahomes on your team. I mean, you can't deny that. So, but I think the Eagles, to me, they're the better team in this matchup. All right. Now you got to win all three phases. You got to win offense, defense, special teams. All right. And I think they have an advantage in all three. All right. Uh for the uh for the Chiefs, the way I see it, I know a lot of people are gonna say it's the Chiefs and the rest versus the Eagles. Yup, we could talk about that some other time, but by the end of the day, it's all on Patrick Mahomes, right? Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes. What he can do, and you got to think too. He has weapons. I think people forget he has weapons. Um, who he have? He has Travis Kelsey. Um, who is it? Worthy. He has people forget DeAndre Hopkins is still on that team, right? Uh, who's their running game is to me is underrated. They have a offensive line. I mean, they have a weakness, a little bit of weakness on the left side of that line, but when you have Patrick Mahomes, that he can make that up. He can make those adjustments and everything like that. But in the defense, the Chiefs defense, this is where I think it's going to. I think this is where the game is going to be determined. The Eagles' offense versus the Chiefs' defense. The Chiefs' defense is going to have to neutralize Saquon Barkley, make Jalen Hurts beat you. That's what I would think. Now Spagnolia, I mean Coach Spags, he is the. I mean, listen, he's a great defensive coach. You cannot argue that. I believe one day he's going to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. All right. Um, what would his game plan be? Right? Are you going to take away Saquon and let Jalen Hurts beat you, or are you going to say, you know what, he let Saquon do him, but let's not let everybody else get involved. Right? We all know about his timing. In terms of blitzing the quarterback. How they going to stack the box? Are they going to put 8, 9 in the box? How they gonna do that? They're gonna play man because I don't outside of McDuffie for the Chiefs, you could take away one of those receivers, but who's gonna take away the other for the Eagles? So that's a decision he has to make. Um, Very interesting how the Eagles, I mean not the Eagles, but the Chiefs gonna come out. I think Chris Jones is gonna have to be dominant for the Eagles defense. He's gonna have to be dominant. He's got to disrupt everything. Um, for uh for the Chiefs. He has to be that guy. Has to be that guy. And if he makes a great impact on the game, like I said, it could be this game could go one of two ways. It could be a high-powered scoring game, or it could be a defensive game, right? It could go one of two ways, or one team or the other, they just completely dominant. It might not even be a close game. All right. So I just think that by the end of the day, there's certain players that you have to say, or certain aspects of this game that's going to determine this Super Bowl. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, we know how great he is. He's chasing um Tom Brady. He's going for a three-peat, the first one in Super Bowl history. Um, and don't get me wrong, he got guys on his team that's hungry too, that want to win a Super Bowl. You look at a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, who was regarded as at one point the best receiver in the game. Now he's with Kansas City, and now he has a chance to win a Super Bowl, right? You got Worthy out there who, a guy who can do everything. No, he's not Tyreek Hill, but he reminds you of a Tyreek Hill. But he's not Tyreek Hill. Okay. Um, Obviously Travis Kelsey is still there. You don't know. He might have a monster game this particular night, like he did early in the playoffs. So when you play in the Chiefs offense, you don't know who's gonna have a monster game. We saw a couple of guys that had a monster game for the Chiefs. You don't know who's going to be. You don't know who's going to be. Obviously, with Patrick Mahomes playing quarterback, he's probably going to try to exploit the matchups that he's looking for. So that's what you're looking at. Um, but to me, in terms of I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. The Out of the two teams, the Eagles have the better team. They have the better defense. Um, I think when it comes to like their offense, obviously you have Patrick Mahomes at the quarterback position, but they have, like I said, the Eagles, their run game. I mean, it's unstoppable, unstoppable, and we're gonna see how this game gonna play out. We're gonna see how this game play out. Um, Now before I give my prediction, who's gonna win this game? Let's talk about the halftime show. All right, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Kendrick Lamar headlining the Super Bowl halftime show, and this is going to be I'm waiting to see how this is going to turn out, right? Kendrick Lamar halftime show. Obviously, people are thinking about, okay, what's he going to play? Obviously the big song that people want to hear is "Not Like Us," and like again, I feel kind of bad for Drake. But again, you want to be a rapper. This is about. Some people live the culture. Some people are just visitors of the culture. You know, um, That's the way I see it. He and speaking of Drake, obviously with the battle with Meek Mill, he won that. Pusha T kind of destroyed him. And I said on my last episode, Pusha T got Drake, hands down. And you think he's gonna battle Kendrick Lamar? And you think he's gonna win that one? No. But this is gonna be a bad week for Drake. Obviously, at least 100 million people gonna be tuning in to the Super Bowl, and they're gonna tune in for the halftime show. And obviously he has some guest that's going to come and perform with them as well. So it's going to be very. I can't wait to see how this particular performance is going to be. All right, y'all. Now let's get to my prediction on who's going to win. This A lot of people are going for the Eagles. Um, and I'm not talking about the Eagles fans. Like if you're an Eagle fan, that is your team you rock with. that's who you go with. I'm not talking about them. Obviously, don't go for the Eagles. Um, I know a lot of people gonna go for the Chiefs because they're Chiefs fans, not the bandwagon fans and anything like that. We're talking about born and bred Kansas City Chiefs fans. Okay, um, wherever you are, you don't have to be from Kansas City to be their fan. You don't have to be from Philadelphia to be an Eagles fan. You know, you got some states that don't have NFL teams, so whatever that grew up in that household, that's what you're gonna root for because it's in you, right? Like for me, obviously me being from Tennessee, I'm a Steelers fan. Um, even though the Titans came in the mid 90s, by the time they came, I was like 7, 8 years old when they came. So I was always a Steelers fan when it came to football. And that's still my team. Even though I still will cheer for the Titans, obviously I'm a diehard Steelers fan. This is who I believe is gonna win. And I could be wrong, right? Because this is a toss-up. To me, this is a toss-up. If Patrick Mahomes has the ball last and he just needs a field goal to win or even a touchdown to win, but definitely is just a field goal to win the game, the Chiefs are going to win because you put the ball back in, you know, who a lot of people would consider, the second greatest quarterback to ever play. To me, Tom Brady's still the GOAT. I know a lot of people want to have these GOAT talks with Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. Tom Brady still has seven. Still has seven. Um, and he's a guy that, would intimidate you in the postseason for sure. Um, could have had eight or nine if it wasn't for the New York Giants, Eli Manning and the Giants, with those remarkable plays that they had. But those were defensive led teams. Like this one, this is the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't see what their weaknesses are because they're the most complete team to me in the NFL this season. But Patrick Mahomes, I feel like Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs will three-peat and uh bring home another Super Bowl. Um Now I won't be surprised if the Eagles won, but if they're gonna win it, like I said, it gotta be Saquon Barkley, hands down. He's the guy that they have to go through. He's gonna be the guy that's gonna open up everything for Jalen Hurts. And a lot of times we've seen how I don't know if it's a coach's thing or maybe some agents are involved where they take they want to make the quarterback the superhero, right? There's only a few guys. Well, to me, there's only one guy in the NFL right now. One game on the line. Who you going to take as your quarterback? It's Patrick Mahomes. Yes, Lamar Jackson had a great season. Josh Allen, MVP. But in those big games, when it matters, you're taking Patrick Mahomes, and that's who I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs. I think, and also too, I believe that in terms of coaching, Andy Reid obviously has a leg up on coaching, and you got Coach Spags as the defensive coordinator. So you know I can't go against that until somebody beats them. I'm gonna stick with the Chiefs. Anybody could do it. It would be the Philadelphia Eagles because they have the experience. A lot of these players have been in the Super Bowl before. They know what to expect. I'm pretty sure their ego's gonna be put to the side. They don't care who is the best player that day or that night. If they go out there, their main focus is winning the Super Bowl. I believe the Eagles can win, and they should win if they have that mindset. But the Chiefs, obviously, to me, two-time defending Super Bowl champion. They're going for their fourth in the Patrick Mahomes era. and I got to go with the Chiefs. The Chiefs in a close win. And no, I'm not gonna look at the refs and be like, well, the refs helped them out, everything like that. I'm not doing that. Um, People want to call it conspiracies and all of that, but let's just be honest. If you're gonna say that about the Chiefs in the NFL, you could say that about a lot of great teams in every sport, hands down. Um, so to me, now I don't will Patrick Mahomes be MVP? More than likely, and that's one. Can I say this real quick? The When it comes to the Super Bowl, right? It's not like how the voters doing in the regular season. We all know the MVP is a quarterback award in it, regular season. What I like about the Super Bowl is that you can have defensive players that could be MVPs, right? You can have the running backs, you can have the receivers as MVPs, right? If they were the best, they had a great impact, they'll be the MVP. And that's how we've seen it. We've seen defensive players win Super Bowl MVPs. We've seen running backs win Super Bowl MVPs. So um now if the Chiefs do win, Patrick Mahomes will be MVP. If the Eagles win and it's because of Saquon and that offensive line, I believe Saquon Barkley will be MVP. And it should be that way. That's how it should be. But by the end of the day, I my final score will be this. I would say 24-22. 24-22. Um, I'm going with no 24-23. I'm trying to think. Do I want 22-24? I'm trying to think, how do I want to I'll put it to you this way. The Chiefs are going to win probably because of a field goal. That's what I'm gonna say. I think the Chiefs are going to win because of a field goal. So that is my prediction. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this Super Bowl. Let me know how you guys, who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. And also let me know what the keys to the game will be for both teams to win, not just one or the other. But let me know, man. Let me know what's the keys to you guys for each team to win the Super Bowl. All right. Thanks for tuning in with me tonight. Appreciate you guys for uh, watching this episode. Don't forget, follow Drinking After Dark Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Hit that like and subscribe to the channel. Also, catch the episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Radio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. All right. Until next time, I'm Darius from Drinking After Dark, and we out. Peace.